corporate recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume we have up first is a full stack software engineer. And while I do more than just tech resumes, to be clear, I do a lot of other resumes. Tech is the most common one right now, and full stack is the most common of the most common. And I got new keyword lists. So the new meta of job descriptions are upon us, and what we need for a full stack software engineer in this current date of 2026 is your degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, React, or React.js. Both of them should be fine. Node.js, Angular. Actually, I got to remove Next.js. That one, we could keep it in for now. SQL or NoSQL, and then MongoDB, RESTful APIs or REST APIs, Cloud, CI/CD, Git, a backend language. Also, you can add C# to that, so .NET or Python or Java, and a bonus point for anything involving AI, architecture, extra language, DevOps, and GraphQL. So the most important thing that in this list is React. React I saw in almost every single one. So you will absolutely need that. And is this resume I have up in front of me good? I don't know. They did not tell me the ratio, which is how you can tell how good your resume is. For every... it's how many applications it takes to get an interview, and ideally it should be less than 1 in 50. If it's more than 1 in 50, something is wrong. So, recruiters have 20 seconds to find what we need in this resume. So, can I find what I need in this resume? I don't know, because I don't know the ratio. And go. Okay, degree, good. Develop the full stack utilizing MongoDB, okay. Express, don't care about. React, I do. To provide visual player users, okay. React, you already mentioned React. RESTful APIs and Node.js is fine. Automated for Git version control, GitHub for CI/CD. Collaborated with team members in weekly sprints, that's fine. Developed full stack using React and TypeScript, and declined. Where is your JavaScript, HTML, and CSS? I know that's the basic tools, but that's what a resume is. Those job descriptions were still asking for JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You need those. And you don't mention TypeScript until, well, all the way down here. That is going to be a problem. So let me read what you wrote. I've submitted about 30 applications so far. I've updated my resume because I wasn't happy with the old one, and I'd like to make sure I'm hitting the right ATS keywords for back-end full stack developer roles. It's not ATS keywords, it's for the human. That is not how the ATS works. The ATS is not going to scan this for words and put it in front of the recruiter. The recruiter, who possibly has very little technical knowledge and only 20 seconds, is going to use those. And to be clear, hiring managers do too. What we are looking for, because you already said an incorrect statement, is qualifications. A qualification is a keyword, which would be these, plus how you use them, plus where you use them, plus the reason or result of you using them. If it is not all those 4 things, besides education and years of experience, it is not a qualification and thus does not count. That is the difference between a keyword and a qualification. And if you do not have 75% of the qualifications, then we cannot move you past, which in this case you did not. You had about 50, so you were close, but not quite enough. So that is why. It's not the ATS, it's a human. I haven't received much feedback for companies yet, so any guidance would be very helpful. I do want to note that I'm an incoming new grad in 2026. Yeah, so I will say it might be a little early to apply for a lot of jobs. Some companies do hire this far out in advance. It's just not all of them. The vast majority of companies hire about 3 months in advance. If you cannot join in the US in 3 months, typically they will not move forward with you. There are exceptions, but I'm just saying, like, the if you apply to 100 jobs, maybe only 20 or 15 of them would be able to move forward on you based on when you're graduating. So your big problem here is you just did not have enough, right? Remember, we're not looking for keywords, we're looking for qualifications. That is why down here this does not count, is because this is not a qualification. It could be a keyword, but not a qualification, because stuff in here is a qualification. And I can start taking stuff out that you missed. So let's see. We have MongoDB. That's fine. I would have preferred SQL itself. So it should have been SQL and in parentheses MongoDB. So keeping that in. You did have React, which counts as React or React.js. That's good. So that's 2. I'm putting a little counter over here just so we can figure out how much you've done. And then we did Node. I put in nothing. You already mentioned React. You don't need to mention it twice in the same job. You should mention it here. In fact, let me show you all with this. So React here and React here is bad. You only want one keyword in each job, but mentioning it here and here is good because that shows years of experience. So don't double up on it. We have RESTful APIs, so that's good. That is 3 that you have. We have CI/CD and Git, which is good, so that is another 5. We can put that in there. And CI/CD and Git. You don't have Cloud, which is a problem. That's actually a really big one. And then I found TypeScript. And your degree. We'll count the degree for this. So that's 7. And that's it. That's all I found in that time. So if you notice, this is not 75%. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9. So you had slightly less than what, 50%? You had 9. You had 7 out of, and you had 9 left. So yeah, you only had about 40-ish% of what I need. You need the rest of that stuff, especially Cloud. Cloud is like really important. And that's part of the problem you're having trouble, and the fact that we're in a recession, and the fact that you are a new grad. Both of those things are impacting you. I want to be clear, but you can't really control if we're in a recession or not. You cannot control that you have graduated. I mean, you know, kind of, but you can control these. So this is what you need to focus on. So I need, again, more of these. I need to hit at least 75% of the non-bonus sections, and I need you to fix your formatting a little bit. It's not bad. It's just this is how it should look. This is yours. There's some slight issues in your formatting. This is how you do it. It's on my website. It's free. So that is your big problem, is you just don't have enough, and I need this stuff. But I will say how you wrote these is correct. So don't change how you wrote this, because these are fine. I actually really like how you wrote these. They gave me context. These are good bullet points. I just need more. And again, you need to stop with doubling up, because there's nothing useful in this one, because you already mentioned React, and UI is nice, but it's, you know, whatever. Not on the list. So, and this is okay, but it needs some other stuff. So you just need more. But overall, this was a good first attempt. Just make those changes, fix the formatting, add more of what I want. You need JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Also, remember, because I need to know where you do it, that is why skill sections don't count. If anything is in a skill section, it doesn't count. That's just the rule. I wish it wasn't. My job would be easier if skill sections counted, but they don't. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate everybody watching this. And, you know, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help me out. And share this with your friends and family. And if you ever need any other help, be sure to join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. That is where I get these from, and that is where I help people out a little bit more than just resume reviews. And, you know, thank you all to my members. You get videos a little bit early. I appreciate you all. And let's go to the next resume. This is a data scientist. So their ratio is 1 in 100. So what that tells me is there are some things right with this resume. It is not a complete, like, delete it and start again, but either the formatting is wrong, their bullet points are wrong. Basically, it's not good because it's double the minimum that you want, but there is at least some stuff that is salvageable. So let's see if that's true. Again, I only have 20 seconds, and what I need is Python, R, SQL, data in all its forms. So data modeling, data analytics, industry. Can't be in every industry, but basically as long as I know what industry it is, or I see an industry-specific keyword like H17 for healthcare, should be good. Explaining stuff to non-technical folks and influencing stakeholders. You need that. Part of your job is not getting the data, it's explaining why the data is useful. And if a CEO who cannot turn on their computer comes up to you and says, "Hey, Bob, you're our data scientist. What does the data tell us?" You can't say I used a Monte Carlo simulation to flip-flop, blip-blop, because again, they don't know how to turn on their monitor. So that is important. And cross-functional ML ops. I don't know why, but I saw it. Microsoft Office applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You need that. Or Google Sheets. They're the same. AI, LLM, ML or NLP, Spark, Skibbity-learn, Pandas, NumPy, dashboards, and data visualization. So you do need some AI, but don't make your entire resume AI. Like, that is kind of a problem, is people go all in on AI for data scientists when that's not what you need. So 20 seconds and go. Okay, formatting's off. Degree is fine. Built interactive dashboards. Okay, good. Using SQL and Tableau. Effective outlier predictions and weekly lifetime value meetings. That's actually pretty good. Engineered a machine model using Python and AWS. Okay, you told me how. Models running DS leadership. You already said that. Let's initial path and decline. So these are a little too wordy and your formatting's off, but I did find some stuff I needed. So this person is in chat, but let me read at least what they wrote. I don't graduate until late April. What is the best time to start applying for jobs? Now. Well, at the time I'm recording this, it's the 12th of January, because the biggest job boom of the year is between the second week of January, about the 12th, and March. Those are the biggest. So should I even count my ratio right now if companies don't want to hire months in advance? I wouldn't count your ratio. Oh, wait, January, February, March, and April. Yeah, you should still apply now. I think you're a little early, but you want to get into the swing of things. And again, it might be a little bit early, but some companies still hire a little bit early. It's rare. Let's see. But you shouldn't count your ratio, because November, December ratios don't count. Hiring is insane during that time. Also, I want to get FANG or big tech. Is my experience good enough? And how do layoffs impact me? Well, layoffs definitely impact you. I wouldn't fear the layoffs so much as I would fear outsourcing, because if you are a new grad, they may outsource that entry-level role. That's a bigger destroyer of new grads than layoffs. It's outsourcing. So, although everybody should fear layoffs. So, how do we fix this? Well, 1, fix the formatting, make it look like this. 2, this has way too many words in it. So ideally, you want 3 to 6 keywords in each bullet point. Maximum. This has like 80, right? And it's entirely focused. So you could keep ML Ops, you could keep machine learning in Python, but then I don't think you need SageMaker or S3 or Docker. It might not be as needed. You should keep AWS. And here I want, again, another one, right? Built interactive dashboards using SQL and Tableau to communicate the impact of outlier predictions in weekly value team meetings. What is that? You wrote it. You're on the right track, but it's still too technical. And you need another thing there. So again, that is kind of the issue right here. Is this is still too technical, and you need another keyword here. But you did write the sentence correctly. I just need a little bit more context. And then analyze the root cause of machine learning. Okay, so when you put it in parentheses like this, that means for the rest of the resume, you can use this parentheses. So now for the rest of this resumes, after this point, you should never fully spell out machine learning, because you taught them that machine learning means ML. So this should just be ML. But you also shouldn't have it here because you already mentioned it here. And resulted to DS leadership. So here's the thing, right? This is almost good. I don't care that you presented it to them. I care that you changed their minds or explained it. So you are focusing, because that's what the sentence does not tell me, is how did you change their mind? How did you influence them? How did you explain it when they had questions? Because yeah, anybody can present something to somebody else. That doesn't mean it was useful, and that's what you have to sort of get into. And then down here, again, I don't think SAS is needed unless that's an industry specific. Again, SAS here, Yeah, so I'm missing some keywords. Some sentences are too big and bulky. Some sentences don't have enough. Your formatting is off. And you don't really tell me the result of you doing it to here to the stakeholders. So, is this a disgusting resume that should be deleted? No, it's just it needs a little bit. This is probably actually a real 1 in 100. Is there are salvageable things in here, but well, you need a little bit both more and less depending on it. So this person is in my live stream right now, so I'm going to go help them out. But for everybody else, let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a machine learning engineer. This person said they have a 1 in 50, so I am assuming this has some stuff that is good. Couple of failures maybe in formatting and 1 or 2 other things, but overall probably solid. So what we need for a machine learning engineer, which I just updated, is degree machine learning, LLMs, so OpenAI, Cloud, LLAMA, LangChain, etc., MLOps, CI/CD, containerization, Kubernetes, Cloud, SQL, ML frameworks, Python, R, Cloud, ML pipelines, NLP, the ability to influence people. So basically you have to get stuff done with no power and explain complex topics, and what was in almost every single one, production grade ML systems from start to finish. So basically, did you create this from the beginning to the very ending, and did it ship? So I have 20 seconds to find this, and let's see if I can. And go. Okay. Engage with seniors in Intel video data, bottlenecks hardware design. Ooh, good. Large language automation, fine-tuned vertical generation, Python, Hugging Face, Aria. Okay, good. Machine learning, built to CD5 for doc, we're optimizing cultures. Wow, that's actually really good. Communicated learning tools to non-technical managers and engineers during user acceptance. Engineered in one circuit, machine learning, and yeah, this is a pretty good resume. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like what you're doing here. I think you could probably fine-tune this a little bit, and that it's a little too technical. Like, I don't know if they need PPO and GRPO and GPT-4 compared to some of the other stuff here. I think it still is slightly too technical, but how you wrote these sentences is very good. So good on you. I think that probably the real thing holding you back is, well, this. And unfortunately, a ratio for somebody on a visa is going to be much less than a U.S. citizen or green card holder. I wish that wasn't the case, but it was. Also, you worked with NVIDIA, which they would love. So, hi, Headless. I'm a student in the U.S. and looking for machine engineering roles. Please help prove my application interview ratio. Thanks for helping me out. I look forward to seeing your content. Yeah, overall, this is pretty good. I like this. Is there something off? There's something slightly off about your font. I don't know what it is, though. But this looks different than this. And it may just be the differences. But I think this is actually a pretty solid one. I think, if anything, your only weakness is this sentence is a little too technical. And after this part, they may not want to know what it is. So maybe shrink it. Maybe make it a little more easily understandable to the layman. But the rest of these are pretty good. I would also like to see machine learning, to be clear. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I need to see the word machine learning first. So I think you want to put in machine learning somewhere there, just so they know that it is a machine learning. But overall, I actually really like this. Like, a 1 in 50 for a new grad on an F1 visa is pretty good. That's actually really good. Like, I think I could maybe make that into like a 1 in 40, maybe a 1 in 35 if we make the changes. But you're not looking at too much of a different ratio. Trying to think if there's anything else here. I think the big thing is just the word ML. Like, you don't... There it is. Yeah, so you show... So right here, because this is pretty technical, you want to put machine... capitalize, learning, capitalize, and then in parentheses put ML. So yeah, slightly too complicated. Very slightly. It's too many crunched together keywords. Remember, we want 3 to 6 per bullet point, and your formatting is slightly off. But overall, this is a very good resume that would probably move forward at a bunch of other places. So again, good job. I wish I could help you more than that, but you're just in for an uphill climb because of the visa. But do those suggestions, and it will be slightly easier for you. It will still be tough, though. Next resume. before we move on to the second resume, there was one other thing that I need to remind you of. I actually forgot to mention this in the review, is when you put your summary up here, this is fine, right? This is what you're supposed to do. You don't actually need the word summary, so you can just delete the word summary. That was it. Minor quibble, but you don't need to put summary. You can just put this up here. Everything else can be the same. But now let's go to the next resume. So this is, I don't know, they just said software engineer. Well, guess what? Software engineers are broken down into stacks. I think because I see C#, this is a C# developer. So I am going to only grade this on the stuff for C#.net. And what we're looking for in C#.net is .NET, C#, SQL, Cloud, MVS, Git, Agile, RESTful API, CI/CD, front-end, cross-functional, DevOps, and ASP.NET. That is what I'm going to be looking for. This person says they're a 1 in 50, but they accidentally left their name up, and they did not write me anything, so I am suspect if they are actually a 1 in 50. So let's see what we can find in 20 seconds to confirm if this is in fact a 1 in 50 resume, which is like a C-, but it does pass. C- passes, to be clear. And go. Okay. .NET, C#, JavaScript. Okay, good. REST APIs. Okay. React.NET. Okay. Composer, we do Microsoft SQL. Okay. CI/CD pipelines and Azure DevOps. Assistant React.js. Project. Okay, actually, this isn't bad. This might actually be a 1 in 50. I think a bigger issue with this is the formatting. Like, if you just fix the formatting and a couple of things in the bullet points, this would be way better. So, here's what they did right. They let me know the actual skills correctly, right? Most of this I found. I saw C#, I saw I saw a CI/CD. I need RESTful APIs and like one or two others, but I also see a little bit of cloud, which you should have just put Azure instead of Azure DevOps and then put Azure DevOps. Again, you want both. So they actually had the words I was looking for. Their formatting is bad. Again, should look like this. And your sentence structure is bad. Contributed in the development of eNote Labs and Hydra. What is Hydra? Who's calling? My wife is calling me. Hold on a second. Okay, to continue. So yes, what is Hydra, right? Like, I don't know what Hydra is. I assume this is the thing that you worked on. Also, stop bolding everything. So this is a relatively good sentence, right? This one's solid. This is where it starts to fail. Is that, like, I don't need to know that you improve data communication efficiency by 30%. That means nothing. I don't care that you reduced user error by 45% or data retrieval speeds or reducing cycles. Those don't help. How you wrote this was perfect. So when companies say impact, they don't mean percentages. They mean the reason you did it, right? That's the point. So the reason you did this was to reduce user error, right? That's fine. You could have just said to reduce user error. That would have been fine. But you don't want to say reduce user error by 45%. So if you fix the formatting, which also includes stop bolding everything here, it makes it harder to read. Again, you would think bolding things makes it easier to read in your resume, but it actually makes it harder because of the volume that recruiters have to deal with. Also, most people get the things that they bold wrong. Although in this case, you actually did it correctly, which is a first for me. But yeah, stop with all these percentages, right? Like, the more percentages you have, unless you're a manager of sales, the worse your resume is going to be. So stop with the random numbers. Stop with the percentages. Write it like this, because this is actually a really good way to write it. Write it like this to reduce errors, right? Oh, here, to reduce errors. This is better than this right here. So I would say you've got the right words. Most of your sentences are okay. You just need to improve them. Because, again, the keywords are the right words, but how you use them is the qualifications. And I would I think, RESTful APIs, although admittedly, no, you have REST APIs. I'm trying to think. I think you missed one or two things. But overall, this is a relatively good resume. It's just mostly held back by formatting and the very end of a lot of sentences being redundant and not useful. But good job on identifying the correct stuff. So, next, resume. This is a communication specialist. See, I told y'all I do non-tech resumes. They're just rarer. This person's ratio is 1 in 50, which is not bad. And safe to say, I have not done a communication specialist, I think, in a very long time. So what we need is public relations or corporate communications experience in the past. Industry, again, it's going to depend on your individual industry, such as if you're sports or video games or states. Explaining complex topics to non-technical people, stakeholders, and customers. Technical material written into narratives, which is something you need, which I misspelled. Meeting deadlines while multitasking. Microsoft Office 365, Word, Excel, Outlook, SharePoint. Adobe, Photoshop, and InDesign. And no spelling or grammar errors. So, for most roles, if you misspell something, it's actually okay, right? I've seen plenty of people get hired that I have submitted and others have submitted that had spelling errors on their resume. It happens. If everything's misspelled, it's a problem, but if you misspell one word, well, whatever, it's not a big deal. But there are certain roles where spelling is highly critical and proper grammar. This is one of them, along with admin assistant. So I should not find any spelling errors in this. Otherwise, it is going to an immediate rejection, which, hey, Recruiter is not one of those. That's why I can get through it. So that's also why I try not to judge. My spelling and grammar are horrible, but for this role, I have to be a jerk about it. This is one of the requirements. So can I find that in 20 seconds? Maybe? Ooh, I like how the bar looks with my little symbol thing there. All right, and go. Can't use anything here. All right, led government market strategy for regional technical college. It's fine. Served as industry spokesman. Published relations. Okay. Editorial materials. That's good. Okay, good. Quarter. This is way too long. You really need to summarize this. Okay. Led editorial team. You have some of the stuff I have. All right. This is probably going to be a pass because you did actually meet really most of what I had. And I will be honest, the bar is blocking out your dates of employment and the title is a bit of an issue. But let me read what you wrote. I'm trying to find a remote position. I've had a grand total of 1 interview so far. Yeah. Oh, this would not work for remote. If you're going on site, this would get you interviews left or right. You will need to change this if you're going for remote roles. So, here's what you need to do. First off, your bullet points are not bad. There are just too many of them. And your formatting is terrible. Nothing that counts in a summary section counts. The exception to that rule is if you're changing industries, explaining a visa like the previous candidate did or the previous one before that, or you are relocating. Those are the only 3 reasons you want a summary. If you put a summary in, it's going to be wasted space. So you should completely delete this. Then I want you to go here, and I need the education. I'm not going to scroll that far down. I assume it's there. Maybe it's not, but you should do it. And then we get into the bullet points, which are not bad. There's just too many of them. So, led comprehensive marketing communication strategy for regional technical college serving diverse stakeholders. I need a little bit more, like what types of stakeholders. But I do like how you tell me what you did. Serves the institutional spokesperson managing media, press release, communication crisis. This should be combined with this. And I still need some keywords in there. So instead of all of that, I would say something as the spokesperson for a technical college, I manage media relations, press releases, and crisis communications, along with speaking with multiple stakeholders such as X and Y. That way you can do it. And you could also probably add this in too. Then here, this is actually perfect. I don't think there's anything that's wrong with this sentence. I think it's perfect. Well, with one actual exception, you need to have past tense. Every resume should have everything written in past tense, even if you're still employed. Just reads better. But beyond the past tense, this is correct. This is how I would want you to read it. Create quarterly newsletter, active social media presence about multiple platforms. Didn't you already say that here? These are the same sentence. You're repeating yourself. Develop marketing materials. Again, you already are kind of repeating yourself up here. Oversee website communication of technical program. All right, communicate special outreach. This is good because you tells me who your outreach. And optimize for us. No. And then this, but you got to tell me how. So, again, this is not a garbage resume, destroy it. You have a bunch of unnecessary sentences, but I need you to write them a lot simpler. And I would like you to tell me how You wrote compelling stories. What was the result of those compelling stories? Those matter, because I don't really see that. Like, you're along with Microsoft Office, I do need. So just make it clearer, right? Like, I need to see Microsoft Office. I need you to tell me very clearly, like, who did you translate these? Why was this important, right? I don't know. You didn't tell me. And I need you to fix the formatting. But the core of a good resume is here. We actually had some good resumes on this stream today. Like, we've had a couple of 1 in 50s, which I at first thought was like, no, they're not 1 in 50s. And then I actually looked at them like, yeah, these are pretty C- resumes, which is what you have right now. But if you're looking for remote work, you need like an A+ resume. So make those changes. Explain it to somebody who has no idea what you do. Stop being so vague. Fix your formatting. Add multitasking and deadlines and Microsoft Excel, and you should be fine. You should be able to secure a remote role as long as you apply first. Again, how fast you apply does matter, but you should be able to do it with that. So that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. And if you ever need more help, you can join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And, you know, I thank you all to my members. I really appreciate it. And those that, send this to their friends and family. And I will see you all in the next video to help you get ahead of your job search.